The Galactic Council chamber glittered with light from 100 worlds, yet for the humans seated at the far end, it felt more like a stage for mockery than diplomacy. They were newcomers here, labeled Deathworlders because their home planet, Earth, was infamous for its storms, predators, and crushing environments that no other species would dare survive. To the rest of the galaxy, the title was less a warning and more a punchline. Delegates from the softer worlds chuckled openly whenever a human spoke, whispering that their survival was pure accident. Captain Elias Vance, humanity's chosen representative, sat with a steady gaze and a polite half-smile, answering every insult with calm precision. It wasn't that he didn't notice the disrespect, he noticed everything, but he knew there was power in patience. Around him, the humans kept their voices low, their expressions neutral, letting the laughter wash over them. Yet behind those quiet eyes, thoughts were turning, measuring each remark, every slight, storing it away. They had learned long ago that the most dangerous predators often waited before striking. The galaxy thought they were harmless, just another weak voice in a room full of stronger powers. But the humans knew something the others did not. The joke would not last forever. The insult came like a blade wrapped in laughter, sharp enough to cut through the heavy air of the council hall. During a heated trade negotiation, the Clarion ambassador leaned back in his seat, his voice dripping with arrogance as he called Earth a savage rock unfit for anything but resource stripping. The chamber erupted in amusement, their mocking tones echoing from the crystal walls. Some even mimicked the sound of storms and wild beasts, a cruel imitation of Earth's nature. Captain Elias Vance didn't move, his face as still as stone, but the small tightening of his jaw spoke volumes to those who knew him. Every human delegate sat in silence, not out of fear, but calculation. The galaxy thought they had won another round of humiliation, that the Deathworlders would absorb the insult and walk away as always. But when the humans rose and quietly left the chamber, there was no trace of defeat in their steps, only purpose. The laughter followed them into the hallways, but none of the laughing voices realized what had just happened. The humans had not been silenced. They had simply made a decision, one that would change the balance of the galaxy. The patience of Earth had just reached its limit. In the weeks after the council meeting, humanity seemed to vanish from the center of galactic affairs. The markets, where human traders once laughed and bargained, grew quiet, and the familiar uniforms of Earth's envoys were no longer seen in the bright corridors of the diplomatic stations. To the rest of the galaxy, it looked like the Deathworlders had retreated in shame, licking their wounds after the Clarion's public insult. But far from the Council's gaze, deep within the cold shadows of untraveled space, something very different was happening. Massive shipyards around Luna and Mars lit up day and night, forging warships with sleek, predatory lines. Old defense platforms that had sat silent for decades came alive, their weapons upgraded with dangerous new designs. Engineers worked in silence, installing technology that most species had abandoned as too unstable, while military officers drilled crews until they could operate in perfect, ruthless coordination. Every movement, every order, was deliberate. This was not blind rage, but cold, measured preparation. Intelligence agents whispered of human fleets gathering at the edges of known space, their numbers growing, but their purpose unspoken. In the void, far from curious eyes, humanity's patience was hardening into resolve. They had no intention of asking for respect anymore. The galaxy had mistaken their politeness for weakness, and soon that misunderstanding would be corrected. Without a declaration, without a warning, the Deathworlders were preparing to speak in a language no one could ignore. The first sign came quietly. A Clarion border station failed to report in. Then another. Within 2 days, 3 major trade routes under their control were suddenly empty of patrols, replaced by the silent presence of human warships. No shots were fired, no threats were broadcast, yet every ship that entered those routes turned back, unwilling to test the Deathworlders' intent. By the time the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting, the chamber was tense, the usual smirks and whispers gone. When Captain Elias Vance entered, the sound of his boots on the polished floor seemed louder than the murmurs around him. He did not sit. He stood before the assembly, his eyes sweeping the room, his voice calm and steady. "We tried politeness," he said, the words heavy in the air. "It failed. This is our new language. Do you understand it? The silence that followed was not from respect alone. It was from the sudden realization that the humans had not been bluffing all these years. They had simply chosen to wait. Now, the laughter that once filled the council chamber was gone, replaced by something else entirely, the quiet, uneasy understanding that the Deathworlders were done holding back. From that day forward, the atmosphere in the Galactic Council was never the same. When the humans spoke, no one interrupted. The Klarn, once the loudest in their mockery, were now the first to sign a treaty one that granted Earth full control over key trade lanes and ensured no alien fleet could enter their space without permission. The agreement was signed without argument, the Klarn delegation avoiding eye contact as if afraid that even a wrong glance might provoke a reaction. Other species quickly followed, offering diplomatic gestures and resource-sharing proposals, hoping to stay on the Deathworlders' good side. Captain Elias Vance accepted each deal with the same calm professionalism as before, but those who looked closely could see the difference. His smile no longer carried the weight of patience, but of quiet victory. Behind closed doors, human fleets remained at readiness, their crews trained and ships fueled, as if expecting the respect earned today might need to be defended tomorrow. Vance knew the galaxy would remember this moment for generations, the day the laughter stopped and the rules changed. Humanity would still speak softly when it served them, but the Council now understood the truth. Politeness from a Deathworlder was not weakness. It was a choice, and a choice they might not offer twice. And in the quiet of Earth's command rooms, one unspoken message lingered in every mind. The galaxy would treat humanity with respect, or it would learn what happened when the Deathworlders decided to stop being polite.